am Lamarcia Lewis. Let's talk. Inauguration Day, Wednesday, January the 20th, 2021. The day has finally come, and all the festivities is basically over. We have made it to this moment in our United States history. A day, inauguration, unlike any we've seen. It was a beautiful, it really was just a beautiful, awesome, amazing day. And God did. I'm so grateful for God's covering of President Biden and Vice President Harris. And we just got to see what lies ahead. We know it's not going to be an easy task because there's much work to be done, especially what they are inheriting from the previous administration, from all the chaos that we've seen from this previous administration, the division that we've seen between the two parties at large, the Democrats, the Republicans, just people in general, because this last presidential administration was a white supremacist turned into a cult, racism. It really wasn't about we, the American people. It was about whoever was in his base, whoever that basically gave him praise. And if they liked him, he liked them. If you crossed him, that was it. So, but he's out. Trump is out. And Pence is out. The Trump kids are out. It's a new day. Today has been a happy day. Oh, happy day is the song that comes to mind. And I just want to just see how things will go forward, especially now that the Democrats will control the House. The two elected Democrat senators from the state of Georgia, Pastor Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff, were sworn in today by our new Vice President Kamala Harris, and as well as the gentleman from California that will be fulfilling previously Senator Harris, now Vice President Harris. So all three of those gentlemen were sworn in by the new Vice President today. And I just watched pretty much all the different events that they show when they were showing where the different Congress member giving gifts to the new president and the new Vice President. Mitch McConnell and his wife gave her a gift. Kevin McCarthy gave a gift. The Speaker of the House, Madam Nancy Pelosi, gave a gift to them, and Senator Amy Klobuchar. So I want to see how things will be going forward, because I saw Ted Cruz was there at the inauguration. I'm trying to understand why, when you just were in cahoots with, or you voted to overturn the election results of we the American people, but yet you showed up at the inauguration of our new president and vice president. Some people just have no shame. They have no shame and no merits, no integrity. It's just who they are. And so I'm just looking to see how now the Republican Party will really behave themselves, how they will conduct themselves, how they will act. Will they do the right thing? Probably most likely not, because what's within you, that's what's in you, and it comes out of you. Like I said, what's in the heart, it comes out. So again, just we'll see how things unfold, because we know the Senate still has to get the articles of impeachment that Madam Nancy Pelosi will be sending to them. There should be a trial coming soon for Donald J. Trump for his role in the incitement of the insurrection that took place at our nation's capital on Wednesday, January the 6th, 2021. A lot of things have happened thus far. We've only had 3 Wednesdays thus far in the new year, month of January the 6th, 2021. An insurrection took place, was incited by, at that point in time, the 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. he incited his white supremacy domestic terrorist cult to storm our nation's capital. They breached the nation's capital. It caused an insurrection, a sedition, broke windows. 5 people lost their lives that day. And since that, 2 other people, a police officer killed himself. It was another gentleman that was a banker, killed himself. So much took place. You had been said some might have been inside help with some congressmen and women. That is to still see how that plays out. But we know Donald J. Trump must be held accountable. The House of Representatives did impeach him last Wednesday. So a lot has taken place again on in this month, January the 13th, which was a week ago today, that the House of Representatives actually did the impeachment the second time for Donald J. Trump, the only president in the United States history of presidents to be impeached twice. And then today was a moment of where the country finally begins to try to heal, to come together, as our President Biden had ran his campaign on to restore the soul of our country. For the first time, we have the first African American Vice President in Indian descent of Kamala Harris. It's a sisterhood. It's black people everywhere, with brown boys and girls, that's seeing so much that history truly has been made, and that there are limited possibilities. Just gotta have one faith in God, the hope, the desire, and to be willing to do the work, and limitless possibility. So now, as we get ready to turn the page to a new presidential administration, Biden-Harris, to prepare to see how this Senate will do with a trial, that because Trump, he should have been removed January the 6th, but definitely no later than January the 7th. Why? Because one, he being a white man, being Donald J. Trump, and now it seems that what rules is that you be a openly blatant racist, you be a white supremacist. It's not about really morals or value. It's not even about policy. It's about the white man's burden, where they just want to see white men, white people control. The reason they're kicking against President Biden, he has one, a black woman, Indian descent, as a vice president. He's about uniting the country regardless of who you may be, regardless of your race, regardless of your gender, your religion. It's about we American people. But that's not what this country was founded upon. We must have a true analysis, just be honest. America wasn't founded on blacks being in control, especially to help hold a political role where you can either be the president of the United States or the vice president of the United States. That wasn't supposed to be so. We were basically supposed to continue to be slaves, to be inferior to the white man. The yes sir, no sir, yes and all that type of stuff. We're not our ancestors. This is not the time where there were slavery. This is 2021. This is new beginnings, new opportunities for all of us. Black Americans, we have just as much intelligence and intellect as anyone else. Just must have the true, fair opportunity. But because, again, Trump embodied racism. He said what he wanted. He did what he wanted. And because this is what was in the hearts of many men and women that served in our United States Congress, the Republican Party, also many Americans, just like those domestic terrorists that actually stormed the nation's capital and did the insurrection. 71 million people that said voted for him for the second time of him running for president. That's because you have a lot of people who have hate in their hearts, and they are open racist people. Many of them are doctors, many of them probably are attorneys, teachers, as we saw, there was previous military people that was at the insurrection. There was a gymnast that was at the insurrection, wore his USA jacket. So we know these are everyday people. Like I say, former military, lieutenants in the military, off-duty police officers was at the insurrection. I saw a video where a lady said, just listen to a conversation, pastors were there. They took their sons. They had their kids there. A woman flew in her private jet. So, I mean, this is where we are in America. Trump was the spokesperson for the open involvement of racism and trying to go back to the days of Dixie, the Confederacy, and all of that, where blacks basically didn't have a say, or again was supposed to be controlled by their masters as if they were slaves and inferior and beneath. That is not who we are. We just celebrated on Monday the late Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King's national federal holiday, because his actual birthday is January the 15th, and it's been reserved for the third Monday of every year in January. That's his national holiday. We know he was an activist for civil rights, peaceful protests, and he said it was about love, that only love can drown out darkness and hate, that the light would shine and love would win. We had the former late Congressman John Lewis that we lost last year, and he also was an advocate with the late Dr. Martin Luther King. He was an advocate all the way up until his death. And as he said, whenever you see something, do something. See something, do something, say something. Good trouble. And the late Elijah Cummings said he may be dancing with the angels. When he spoke so vividly about that time when all the children was taken from their parents and put in cages and just inhumane treatment. So there's a lot of work that still must be done, will be done. Today was an awesome day. It was a beautiful day. It was an amazing day. I was just so grateful to be able to witness. But tomorrow the page turns. It turns to another page of the new chapter. So we shall see what resides. Kevin McCarthy, the Republican, was there, and he too was voted to overturn the will of the people. And just the fact alone that Donald J. Trump actually wanted, and if he could have gotten it done, would have overturned the will of the American people. That's just as ludicrous and absurd and ridiculous as, I can't even really fathom that, because it's just so, it's sad that a man tried to overturn the will of the American people. When people go to the polls to vote between candidates, because there's more than one, somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose. And when that winner has been projected or announced, you need to be that bigger person and realize, okay, my time is done. And be grateful that you had the opportunity. But to really go through the measures that this man did, he never conceded. He put out the conspiracy that the election was rigged. He said that it wasn't a free and fair election, that it was fraud. Just so many things that he did to incite this. And then so many people that went along with, so many members of the Republican Party that went along with the conspiracy of the lie, knowing that it was just that, a lie. Just a couple of days ago when Mitch McConnell was on the Senate floor, when he said that the president, and at that time it was Donald J. Trump, did incite the insurrection that took place at the nation's capital. He knew this, just like he knew all along that Joe Biden won the election. But it wasn't after the electors when Mitch McConnell acknowledged that Joe Biden was the president-elect, and Kamala was the vice president-elect. But they knew it November the 7th when the American people and everyone got the announcement that after all the results of the election, the presidential election on November the 3rd, after all the true ballot counting, Joe Biden won. But yet these Republicans willfully, and please get that, understand, they willfully ignored the truth just to appease Donald J. Trump. We've never experienced anything like this. This man didn't go to the inauguration, that was great, especially after you incited an insurrection. You have been so vile and so evil and so corrupt. You're not wanted anyway. And I didn't want him as president for the past 4 years, but definitely after you have shown me all the more just how corrupt you are, just how evil you are, and how you just all about yourself. Why would anyone want you in their right mind? Why would anybody want you to be the president of the United States, their president? I mean, you tried to overturn the will of the American people. You did it with everything you could. You tried to go to court, had court cases, lost court cases. You tried out Supreme Court because you put 3 conservatives on the bench. You thought they was going to overturn the will of the American people. Then you tried to coerce the state official in the state of Georgia to give you 11,780 votes to give you the electors for the state of Georgia, still trying to win the presidency. And then the last result, talking about Mike Pence, the former vice president, he can give us the victory on January the 6th. That was not in his authority or power. That was part of the protocol of the founding fathers, that the electors be certified by the Congress, and the vice president is the one that sits in on the certification. There was nothing he could do. And then you put a hit out on this man. Those domestic attorneys was chanting, "Hang Mike Pence," looking for Nancy Pelosi, one man that supposedly asked Trump for a pardon, Amcon or something, that lives with his mother. And his mother was talking about when he was first arrested, he hadn't eaten since Friday because he's on a strict diet. Only wants organic food. But he left a note talking about, this is only the beginning. We're coming for you. But also, Donald J. Trump put the hit out and gave the announcement at the first debate. At that point in time, Joe Biden did, when he wouldn't denounce white supremacy. What he did, he told them to stand back, stand by. The next day they said, we're standing back, standing by. And then on January the 6th, it all took place. An insurrection, a breach of our nation's capital, a sedition. All at the incitement, directed, commanded by Trump. This is just ridiculous. This, like I said, it was actually said, we are coming. We are coming for you. That's what that man wrote. Then it's been several videos that's been put out since then where they were saying, well, Ted Cruz are like this and Josh Hawley. It's been stated that they believe that some congressmen and women was a part of this insurrection took place. And as we get more answers to it, I wouldn't be surprised to learn that it was some inside help. But I'm grateful that today turned out to be a beautiful, awesome, amazing day for our now new President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, because they deserve to have a beautiful inauguration day. Because of COVID, of course, that was things was different. We had to adhere to the CDC guidelines. People had to have on their masks. It couldn't be the big, enormous crowd as usual, as we saw in that they had flags that was set out where normally people would be able to be at the mall, that they would be able to stand and just witness the inauguration, parades and banquets and balls. They didn't have any balls and anything like that, but they did have where both the president and the vice president and their families was there to listen to some of the performances that they had tonight. Again, it's just been a beautiful day, and I'm grateful for that. But because of the pandemic, it was just somewhat different, but it still was a beautiful day. So again, the page turns tomorrow. The president went in and already has done some executive order, and the new press secretary did her first briefing and said that she would do it Monday through Fridays, and say, hey, let's do this tomorrow. So we're looking forward to this new president administration to be able to succeed, because if they succeed, we succeed. We, the American people. And if we can just come together, do it together. We're not going to always agree, but we can reason one to another. I mean, we can be decent human beings. Because God told us that we love ye one another and to treat your neighbor as yourself. We don't have to be mean, cruel, selfish individuals. We don't. Everybody can express his or herself respectfully. I just like having morals and values, being a person of integrity. That means so much to me, and that's what I expect from others. I want to have someone, especially if it's going to be my leaders like the president and the vice president, I want to be able to hold you accountable. I want you to tell the truth. I don't want to have a liar in chief. I don't want a white supremacist in chief. I don't want a racist in chief. I don't want a bully in chief. I want someone that will represent all of us as the American people, because there are so many different races. There's so different many ethics. And then there you got men, you got women, you got boys, you got girls. I mean, it's so much. Mike Pence and his wife was at the inauguration. I have to give, I think he did the right thing there, although he probably is doing it, I think, to somewhat personal, because I do believe he's hoping to be the Republican candidate for the 2024 presidential election. So he's trying to, if possible, salvage and rebuild his political career. But at least he did the right thing. He showed up. Because Trump, I don't know if he thought the show wouldn't go on, because he said that he wasn't going to come, but he wasn't wanted. His trophy wife was not wanted. Nepotism Barbie tried to get an invite because supposedly she's now wanting to have a political career with no political background and experience. The only thing she has is being Donald J. Trump's daughter. She got the senior advisor to the president because that was her father. Same thing as her husband. But not that she, one, has any political experience, or definitely not because she had, her or her husband had any merits of real qualification, but just basically she being his daughter and her husband being her husband's how they was even part of the administration when her father was the 45th president. So I'm not a fan of Mike Pence at all. I don't care for his wife, but again, hey, he showed up, because it's like First Lady Michelle Obama said, when they go low, we go high. It's always, and it's a quote from the late Dr. Martin Luther King, it's always the right thing to do the right thing. It's always the right thing to do the right thing. So Mike Pence, hey, he did the right thing. He showed up to the inauguration. And that's what it's supposed to be. And see, that's how petty and how it really shows that Donald Trump, one, is just about himself. Two, this man has no self-respect, no integrity, no concern. He didn't even know how to be a president. He wanted to change all the rules, and look what it's gotten him. The only president in American history, one, he was a one-term president, and then out of that one term has been impeached twice. Never has that happened in our United States history. But that's what you get when you're not a kind man, but an evil, corrupt, hearted individual, when it's all about you and no one else. I hope this Senate will do the right thing, because this man went out, like I said, he should have been removed after he incited an insurrection and 5 people lost their lives that day. If that had been anyone, especially if it had been a black president, like if that had been President Obama that did that, them white folks, them Republicans would have had him out so quick, so fast, that very same day. And just like how they just got to waltz out after they done totally destroyed the nation's capital, they just got to go home. He went on, made a video talking about, we love you, you're very special, but you got to go home. That was just a bunch of crap. And again, if that had been any other president, especially if it had been like thus far our one and only black president, they would have raised all kind of hell, the Republicans, the GOP. But this man walked out today with a pension that we, the American people, will continue to pay. He has a travel allotment that he can just travel around this world with his conspiracy of lies. And when they do this Senate trial, they need to impeach him as if he would have been in office and remove him. And they need to cut off his benefits. And he needs to never be able to run or hold a federal office, never be able to run for president or any other public political official role, because this man incited an insurrection. 5 people died. That is pure corruption. Tried to overturn the will of the American people. That is an impeachable offense that needs to be held accountable with strict consequences. Him being cut off, and like I said, and being stripped of the previous benefits that an outgoing president received, because he is not worthy. So those are my thoughts, my commentary on this Wednesday night, January the 20th, 2021, Inauguration Day. And again, it was a great day. Let's just continue to lift the president, the vice president, our country, because we do need to restore the soul of our country. Our country needs healing. I pray that we can all, as Americans, as a people, as a whole, our congressmen and women, remember, one, they are sent there to do a job, to represent us, the American people. It is not about them, although they have all become so complicit and just got so caught up with many of them being years and years of being in the political role, and they being rich, and we the struggling Americans. They not forgot about what normal, the normal average struggling day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year, just trying to make it. And then now we're in a pandemic. They don't think about us, the American people. They have their own personal agenda, which is about greed, hunger for more money and more power. But I know there's a God that sits high and looks low. We've been through some very dark days, some very dire days and moments of 2020. The last 4 years with just Trump being the president. Then last year when the pandemic, COVID-19, the count is now over 400,000 Americans have lost their lives. Many people are still without jobs. And just the fact that the 6th day of this new year, the insurrection that took place, incited by, at that point in time, the 45th president, tried to overturn the will of the people. I mean, there's just so much. But just know, as God got us. That's what brings me the comfort. that's what brings me the cock of the day. Oh, it was just a beautiful day. But the page turns tomorrow. The work has already begun. So let's just continue to pray for better days, hope for better days, know that we can be better and do better, and we can do it all together. And just pray for God's continuing coverage, grace, and mercy. Because without God, we can't make it in this world. And I'm grateful that I know how to acknowledge him for who he is. So let's lift the new president and the vice president and just all of us, our country, every situation in God's care. I am LaMarsha Lewis. Let's talk.